And we are live. So, welcome everybody. If anybody's here yet, I usually just talk a little bit for the beginning because nobody's here yet. So, yeah, welcome to everybody that's here. Savy is with me today, and we're going to do an author interview. So, Savy, if you don't know, has just recently come out with a new book. And so I'm going to let her tell you guys about her new book, and then we'll get into the interview and I'll ask her some questions. And yeah, pretty much just have fun with it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me on. I love your channel, and I feel like we've been like YouTube friends since the beginning, so it's always fun when we get to collaborate. And I
Yeah.
love seeing, like, congratulations on 4,000 subscribers, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Yeah, that was really
amazing.
exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so I'm Savy. I have a YouTube channel called Savy Writes Books. I put out videos on Mondays and Fridays on my channel, and my channel is all about books and business. So I do book reviews and writer videos, but I also do business commentary, and I talk about business ethics because I'm also a small business owner that runs a book-themed business. So it all kind of connects for me. So every once in a while, I'll be doing like dramatic exposés on terrible CEOs and things like that. And it's like, I swear it's all related. My channel's a little chaotic, but I have a lot of fun over there. So 3 weeks ago now, it's the 3-week anniversary. This book is officially 3 weeks old, which is very exciting. My new book called 90s Kids just came out, and this book, it's my first like traditionally published book. It's my 10th overall book because I've done a lot of self-publishing, and like I said, my business produces books, so it's a good time. But this is my first book that I've worked with a publisher who, pays me royalties and that kind of thing instead of, the more entrepreneurial route with that. So as my first experience with that. But this book is an LGBT young adult time travel romance. I've been telling people it's lesbian Back to the Future because that's basically what it is.
Yes, we need this.
I'm like, dude, who doesn't need lesbian Back to the Future? I think it's necessary, so I wrote it. So it's this book. This is the hardcover I've got right here. I love the
It looks
cover so much.
cool.
I'm just
hold it
so
up close
happy.
to the camera. I want everybody to see this awesomeness. That is fantastic.
There it
What's the
is.
backside look like?
The back's like this. Do they have a future
Nice.
together if they met in the past?
I love it.
I've been obsessed with this cover for months, ever since the cover first revealed back in April. I've been so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So it's a story about two girls born at opposite ends of the 90s who go to take their driver's license test, but there's been secretly a time portal in development at the DMV the whole time, and they both get in a time travel accident and get sent back to 1989, where they meet and fall in love and have an 80s adventure running from DMV officials. That's what the book's about.
That sounds so interesting. I think that'd be such a fun book.
Thank you. I've been working on it for 3 years, so it's been a fun time. But yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so cool. Like, I personally am a huge fan of the Back to the Future series.
Same.
So
My first tattoo was the DeLorean, so.
Okay, you got to get that up close too. Now.
I gotta get that up close too. Yeah. So that's the first tattoo I got
cool.
a long time ago.
Say?
It says, "Where we're going, we don't need roads."
Yes, I love that. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
That's such an iconic line from the end of that movie. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's such a fun series. What's your favorite in the series out of the three?
The first one. Actually, but the second one also holds a special place because in the second one, right, they travel to October 21st, 2015, and that's the day that I proposed to Tyler. So I decided to do a time travel themed proposal on really that day because I was like, this day's only gonna come once ever. And so I proposed to him on that day. We did I gave him a little time travel scavenger hunt where I hid clues in my model DeLoreans. And he had to find the clues. And then the clues led to, at the end, was me proposing to him.
That is really cool. And such a fun way to propose too.
I was really excited when I thought of the idea. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so fun. So I was like, I made some cheesy thing where it's this is the day where you travel to the future, so I want to have a future with you, or something silly like that.
That's great.
It was really fun.
As if too that the date in that movie, we've already passed that date, and just some of the things that they thought we would have had by now.
Well, fun fact, but this is because I'm a Chicago person, so in Back to the Future 2, they predict that on October 21st, 2015, the Cubs are going to win the World Series, right? And then October 21st, 2015, the Cubs lost the playoff game that eliminated them from the running for the World Series in real life. However, they did win in 2016, which was it was their first win since 1906. So that was kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I still
fun Chicago facts.
I still want that like self-drying air jacket though, honestly.
Oh yeah.
That thing was so cool. And the hoverboards, yeah. I wanted one of those hoverboards so bad as a kid.
Oh yeah.
I knew they weren't real. I mean, they're real kind of now.
There's like hoverboards kind of, but they don't quite work the same, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was
maybe
so
one
cool.
day.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a list of questions here that we can get into. Oh, before we jump into the questions, we're actually doing a fundraiser today as well as this live stream. So we are doing a fundraiser for the archives, and that is a LGBTQ plus organization. It's a charity that takes in different resources and kind of keeps like an archives of LGBTQ plus people in history. So yeah, it's really exciting. They have like this whole place with all of our history in it. And I think it's so cool that it's going to continue to build and grow. And they take submissions from people. So if you have anything like relevant to LGBTQ plus history, you can send it to them. They literally say on their website that they'll take like anything funny, sad, like all the stuff. So I've linked that in the description of this live stream, as well as the link to the Facebook fundraiser that we are hosting. So it'll be there as well. But yeah, so now we can get into the stream. Into the interview. I'll put the link to the fundraiser in the stream like as we're going. But yeah, I'll ask you your first question. So are you ready?
Yeah, well, first I just want to say that's a really cool fundraiser. I think it's so cool that you're doing like a fundraiser along with this, because I remember I was like, I thought it was really cool that we were able to have this conversation before the end of Pride Month. We're kind of wrapping up Pride Month now, and I'm like, I've got a LGBT book, and we can make a charity fundraiser with it too. So I just think that's a fantastic idea. I'm really glad you are raising the money. So I hope everyone checks that out. And also, I want to say hi to my mom, who I just saw in the chat. Hi, Mom.
Oh.
There's my mom.
Hi.
Anyway, yes, absolutely. You can ask any questions.
Hey, Roro. Cool. All right. Yeah. Also, Savy repping with the rainbow shirt. Awesome.
Got the rainbow shirt. Trying to dress a little 90s today.
I do not have 90s clothes here with me, but I wish I did because they're awesome.
It's not hard for me because I intentionally try to buy things that look like they're from the 90s. So yeah.
That's fair. Okay, so my first question, and this is one that I don't know if you'll know the answer to, but what is the first book that made you cry?
Flowers for Algernon.
Really? I've heard about that, but
I was 12, I think, when I read it. And yeah, it was just such an emotional book. I wasn't expecting that level of emotion in the book. And I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, because if you read the description, it's it sounds like it's going to be a pretty intense story, but I just got really emotionally invested in it. So I don't even remember most of the book that well now, but I remember that it was the first book that made me cry.
Well, that's fair. I think the first book that made me cry is probably Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh God, that book was emotional, dude. That was also some cheap emotional manipulation in that book. Yes. Hey, Star Reads YA's here. What's up?
Hey. Oh, Star's here. Hi, happy Pride Month. Got my copy of 90s Kids. You were super cool, Savvy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I remember she was I think she likes both of our channels a lot because she was very excited that we were doing a collab. So I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
No, Star's awesome. Yeah. I've had Star on for some live reading sprints before, and she was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So happy to see you here, Star.
Yay!
Yeah, Bridge to Terabithia,
sad book.
Gut punch. So
my God.
So
oh my God.
I was not ready for that. And I was a kid.
No, me either.
That was a rough one. Okay, so when you're writing, does it energize you or does it exhaust you?
It depends what I'm writing. I think that writing has there's a lot of different parts to it. If I'm in the stage where I'm doing the free writes and getting really excited for the plot and like just really getting into the dialogue and those phases where I feel like I can just talk to myself as the characters and things like that, I'm energized. But it can be kind of exhausting when it's like the stage where you're looking at this scene that your editor's like, you need to fix this, and you don't know how to fix it, so you're staring at it all night. That's exhausting. But I will say that, like, for me, I'm just like super extroverted, like to a fault. So if I'm want to be energized while writing, I try to do it in public, or I try to hang out with friends. Like, that's why I have my Wednesday night writer sleepover live streams on my YouTube channel. So I do things like that, or I join people's sprints, or now that like there's more people getting vaccinated, maybe like meet up with friends in person more often. Yeah. And things like that. Writing, just like the being by myself part exhausts me more than anything else.
Oh, tell me about it.
I get so lonely.
I'm so ready to socialize with people again, because it's just been so long being at my house. Like Marcus is here too, obviously, but like I work at home during the day because I'm working from home, and it's exhausting being alone.
It was hard. This was a really hard, I mean, it was a really hard year for everybody. So I think that's pretty obvious to say that. But yeah. Did you get your vaccine yet?
I have my first dose, and I actually just got a call today to get my second dose on Monday. So,
yay! Congratulations!
So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yay!
Although
that's awesome.
It's at like 8:30 in the morning, so that's going to be tiring. But
yeah,
I mean, I have to get up anyways to bring Marcus to work, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But I'm happy you're getting it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I just want to get double vax. It'll be great.
Yes.
Katie said, might come back later, but in case I don't, just wanted to say hi. So, hey, Katie, if you're still here. I also posted the fundraiser link in the chat if anybody wants to check it out there. It's also in this video description link, so in 2 places. Okay. So back to my questions for you. That was actually, that's a good answer too, about being like energized when being around people. Because I find that if I ever, well, I mean, I guess I haven't done it in a long time because I can't, but like if I ever wanted to be productive, I would go like to a cafe or like a coffee shop and just get some caffeine, sit down with my laptop and like get to work. And I would get so much done. So yeah, no, I totally get being energized by other people around you.
Oh yeah, it's like it's completely necessary. So I'm excited for that. Although my problem is I really hate using a laptop. I'm definitely a desktop computer person. So it's a weird mix of like, I want to use the desktop computer, but I don't want to be by myself. And like, I can't fit more people in this room. So it's difficult.
That makes sense. Yeah. So do you have a writing kryptonite? Or
let me think. In terms of like, I like think if it's like something I struggle with, like I really struggle with like world building a lot. That's something that's really hard for me. Especially when it comes to one, like the physical descriptions. I've noticed that I'm a kind of person who just kind of floats through my life a lot. I don't always notice what's around me. I kind of walk into the wall sometimes. I trip over the sidewalk sometimes. So like I'm not very good at like noticing my surroundings at all. So when I go to write things and then I turn something into somebody and they're like, you didn't describe where anything happened. And I'm like, oh no, because I don't think about it in my own life either. But that's definitely something that I have spent like a lot of concentrated effort working on and getting better at over the past many years. So there's that. But when it comes to world building, especially, I can struggle with that, especially since I've been more used to writing contemporary for a long time. And then I generally like when I'm going to write something that has some type of sci-fi element, I generally set it in a contemporary world first and then add the element as we go along so that the world building, the characters can experience the world building as I'm figuring it out. So that's kind of how I've been working on that. But I'd say that those are kind of the things that are definitely like the biggest struggles.
So we probably won't be seeing any big fantasy books from you in the future.
I doubt it. I don't think I'm going to ever write an epic fantasy. I wouldn't be good at it. I'm not the one to do it. I'm not even that good at reading them. Like when I try to read them, I get lost so easily. I'm like, I don't really know what's happening.
I'm
So
the same way with big epic fantasy books. I like so many people are telling me to read the big epic fantasy books, and I'm like still in like beginner fantasy mode.
oh yeah, I mean, I found that I like urban fantasy. I like books, especially where it's like, we're in a contemporary urban type of setting, and there's a character who learns that they have superpowers, or like develops superpowers or something,
Yes.
or that kind of thing, or gets transported into a fantasy world and has to learn it. Like, I just want the author to walk me through step by step what's happening. I don't have to figure it out. So there's that. Yeah.
No, I love superpower stories. They're so much fun because like I
Yeah.
guess it's just like my love of like comic books and superheroes. It just like brings it out, and I'm just like, yes, I want more of this.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Star said, my work is considered essential, so I still had to go to work during the pandemic. So at least I got some interaction with my coworkers, which is nice.
It's nice you got the interaction, but I am sorry you had to
Yeah.
go to work during the pandemic, because I know that can be really stressful being around a lot
Yeah.
of people. Yeah, before the vaccines.
Okay. If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would it be?
Like if we're talking about like college hipster savvy, it would be like, okay, first of all, stop drinking so much while you're writing. You can drink while you edit videos. You can't drink while you're writing words. It's not good. The next thing would be to tell my younger self, Savvy, don't put a self-insert character of yourself into the book, because especially if you're doing it in a self-deprecating way. I used to do that all the time. I would make a character based on me, and she would be like such a bitch on purpose. And I would make everyone else, like her arc every time would be that she'd have to learn to stop being so awful because everybody hated her. It was like the biggest exercise in like masochism. So I would say stop doing that. It's cringy and you're not going to look back on it positively.
Yeah.
But then other than that, like in terms of just, more practical advice, I would also say try to take advantage of the medium that you're writing in as much as possible, because I was really into screenwriting and I studied screenwriting a lot back in college, and I got really into that, and I would write things and I'd make some student films, and it was a lot of fun and I had a great time. And then I would go to write a novel and I would start writing it in the same way, where I'd be like, description, dialogue, action, dialogue, action, dialogue. In reality, I'm like, okay, but I have such an opportunity to delve into people's heads to figure out how I'm going to use perspective and things like that. And it's just a different modality. And so I would tell myself, like, hey, you're not just writing something in a different form for the sake of it. Like, try to figure out what the advantages are to the medium that you're using.
That's actually really good advice for a younger self.
Yes, a younger Savvy would have wasted a lot of time, or would have not wasted a lot of time. Would have saved myself from wasting a lot of time. Yeah.
You'd have 15 books out now instead of 10.
Instead of 10. Well, my goal is 15 books by the time I'm 30. I don't know if I'll reach that, but we'll see. Maybe.
Well, 10 is still like a huge accomplishment. That's so cool.
Yeah, this is number 10. I'm so excited that I'm like, number 10 gets to be this one, because I'm just very proud of this book.
Also, for anybody that doesn't know, the link for the book is in the description of this video as well, so you can go get her book there if you want. Paige is here, and she's happy she made it.
Paige is a puppet. She's awesome. We love Paige. Paige has been on me and RK's morning show all week.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Eric, you're Canadian. We're celebrating Canada all week. If you want to join us on the morning show, hit me up. I'll talk to you about that later. But it's Canada week. I don't want you to miss out on Canada week.
Okay. I didn't know you were celebrating.
We're celebrating Canada this week. Yeah.
Are you like, when is your morning show? Like, what time is it for you?
It's 8 my time, so it'd be 9 a.m. your time.
9 a.m. my time. Well, I'm available, I think, on July 2nd.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Come July 2nd, because it's RK's birthday, so we want to have as many people on as possible.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Yeah. Okay. And is it also Canada Day on Friday?
It's Canada Day on Thursday.
Oh, it's Canada Day Thursday. Okay, I had the wrong day.
July
Never
1st.
Mind. Okay, July 1st, Canada Day.
I took Friday off, so I have the day off.
Oh, awesome. We're gonna party. Canada party, cool. Y'all. Okay, sorry, that was a little sidetrack.
All right. Okay. So let's jump to my next question. Let's see, where was it? Okay, how did publishing your first book change your process of writing?
So publishing my first book was really what like launched me into forcing myself to learn about everything. I was not someone who I really just kind of like throw myself headfirst into things a lot. I can be very impulsive, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. When it came to publishing my first book, it was both good and bad. It was good because I had my book Beauty King, right, which is the first one I put out, which is not my best work. Like, you can buy it if you want, but it's not the one I'm going to advertise this one to you over that. Because that, was my first book that I put out. And I had originally, it was like I was saying, I'd originally written it as a screenplay, and then I kind of transferred it from screenplay to book mode. And I don't think I took enough advantage of the book medium. I definitely changed a lot of it, but not enough of it, I don't think. But I put it out there without really researching the process. I was just like, okay, you can put books out there. That's cool. I will just see how this works, and I'm going to learn it by doing it. I'm not going to research. I'm just going to upload files to Amazon and throw it out into the universe. As a result, that book has sold the least copies of all of the books I've ever written, including, this one sold the most, I think, and this one's been out for 3 weeks, and that book has been out for 6 years, and this one's already sold at least probably double what that one sold, because I didn't know anything about marketing. There was no arcs. There was no marketing plan. I was just like, boom, let's see how this works. And then now that I had a book out, I had to force myself to learn it, because I was like, I'm not letting all this work go to waste. So I started learning about the process at that point. So it was good because it forced me into it. It was bad because I didn't know anything, and I was just going into something with no prior knowledge. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your learning style. If you're someone who needs to launch into something to really motivate yourself to learn it, then it's good. But if it's going to be stressful, it definitely, if you're someone who puts a lot of emphasis on the debut novel release, I wouldn't do it that way, because I completely wasted my debut book doing something like that. But at the same time, I was glad that the first book I put out is the worst of my books, because I wanted to improve as I went. And the book I put out when I'm a nobody that no one's ever heard of is probably the book to mess up the most on, and you're going to mess up the most your first time. So I think that book taught me just a lot about publishing, and a lot about what I could do differently as a writer. That one I wrote in third person omniscient, which I will never do again. I don't know why I did it for that one, because I'd originally written it as a screenplay. That's why, and all screenplays are in third person omniscient. So I did that. The next novel I went into writing after that was One Final Vinyl, which I did in first person singular, which was much better. And then every book just kind of progressed from there.
Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, it's definitely, you definitely do have a learning curve when you come into this, and it's cool that you got your head around the marketing part of it, and even I've seen growth since I've known you, because I think when I knew you, what was the first, or I'm trying to think, the first book I read of yours was Sculpt Yourself.
Yeah.
And then even since Sculpt Yourself, seeing you grow marketing wise, seeing you grow on YouTube, it's just it's been such an inspiration, and it's so cool.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, no, it's cool that I can tell that you've got your groove, and now you're just rolling with it.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I feel like I finally figured a lot of things out, and it was a long time to figure things out. There was no I think that's the thing, is a lot of people think there's going to be a moment where it clicks, or a moment where you pick up the momentum suddenly. And that didn't happen. It was just really slow, trying a lot of things. This thing worked a little bit. I put out a BookTube newbie tag video, and it got 60 views. Oh my God, I got 60 views. Yeah. In the past, if I put out a video about a book, it would get 5 views. So let's try to figure out something from here. So it's something works a little bit. You take that little bit of a thing that works, and you try that really hard and find the small pieces of that work. And you just keep doing that constantly, and it's frustrating and really slow, but it's the way to grow. Also, Christine is in the chat, and she's my publisher. So
Hi,
that's Christine. She is my publisher. What's up, Christine? I'm glad you're here.
I also want to give a shout out to your mom, who is saying hi to each person that comes into the chat. I love it.
My mom is very friendly.
Your mom seems like the most welcoming person.
She is a super welcoming, friendly mom. I love you, Mom.
we are standing welcoming moms. We love
it. Yes.
Okay, so my next question is, do you read reviews on your books?
Yes, I do. And I know that that's not usually recommended, but here's the thing, guys. As a person who makes fairly controversial videos on YouTube, I need to have a pretty thick skin in general. So I take my reviews of books, if they're negative, I take them as either places to improve, or if the negative things don't really make sense to me, then I take it as figuring out more that maybe whoever read that was not my target audience and refining the target audience or something. I try to see what I can learn from them. And I also take negative reviews as a sign that I'm getting a bigger reach, because when you first start putting books out, when you have a pretty small reach, the books are going to reach the people who are already interested in that particular book, which is to start off a very small group of people. Yeah. If your book is selling well, like statistically, it's likely that you're going to hit some people who aren't going to like it. So I'm seeing that as a good thing. Now, I mean, if I were getting a majority of negative reviews, then I would probably say, okay, well, what do I need to really work on fixing? Yeah. But otherwise, a few negative reviews here and there I take as a sign that I'm doing something right in reaching more people. And also I try to see if there's areas for improvement based on what things people criticized and things like that. But I also read them because I do like to see the positive reviews too. And I like knowing what people enjoy of them. And then I'm also like, since in a lot of cases I've done my own marketing, I have had to, look for interesting quotes from reader reviews to put on graphics to market the book, or to put on the back of the book or something like that. So to use it for marketing. So yeah, I read my reviews. I watch videos of people reviewing my books and things like that. And I would say if for other authors out there, if you're someone who is sensitive to that kind of thing, then I would say don't do it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to being sensitive to that kind of thing, because it's a very strong emotional connection you have to your work. So if that is how you are, then I'd say just avoid reading them, because you don't want to put yourself through that. But if you're someone who is willing, or is like, it doesn't really bother you to take tons of feedback, even if it's insulting from a variety of perspectives, then I would say I have never had a problem with it. But I will say the one thing you never want to do, you never respond to a negative reviewer. Unless it's to say like, thank you for your review, I appreciate the feedback or something. But like, no, I'm seeing too many cases of that. And I've been making some videos calling it out, where I'm seeing some authors responding to negative reviewers and being mean about it. And I'm like, you don't do that. It makes you look bad. It makes no one want to read your work. It makes people afraid to be honest about it because they're worried you're going to attack them. It's like, it's just not a professional way to behave. So I would say, yes, I do read my reviews, but I add the caveat onto that, where it's like, if you're going to read your reviews, you need to go into it with a mindset of what you can learn from it, and not to take it personally either way. Yeah. Like this author. Oh, you put her name up there? I was thinking of Gabby Hanna, because I made 2 videos about her doing that. I just remember Lauren Huff did that as well. Yeah. Yeah. I remember this person popping off on people. She was let alone being like so mean. She was popping off on reviewers for giving her 4-star reviews. And I'm like, what? Yeah, exactly. It's like this person gave you a 4-star review. That is a good review. Yeah. Like, I'm excited to get 4-star reviews. It means someone liked it. Yeah. Why would you get mad at people who liked it just because they didn't think it was the best book of all time? It's ridiculous. Did not understand. Yeah. That. But it's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, what was I? Oh, I had a train of thought and I was going to say something, but then Lauren popped into my head. She popped it. Yeah, she's been, which is a shame, because her book looked really good, but I'm not going to read it now because she's been so mean. I'm afraid to which is a problem. This is why, as an author, you never want to respond to reviews in a negative way, because you make people afraid to read your book, because you make reviewers feel like they can't be honest or else they'll get attacked. And that's not a good environment to create. Yeah. And like, I think, okay, now I remember my train of thought. And I think it's similar to like YouTubers, where whenever they get anything negative on their channel, like immediately they're kind of going to want to feel down about it, because it's like somebody's being negative about the content that you're working so hard to put out. But anytime anybody says anything about getting like a negative comment or something on YouTube, I'm like, congrats, you've made it on YouTube. Exactly. Because like, yeah, if you have a hater, that means like you're doing something right. So yeah, because people are actually seeing your videos, that enough people are seeing them that there are people out there to hate them. And I've definitely gotten, like, I even did a video reacting to negative comments, in which case was not like, if it was good faith criticism, I generally take that as like, if someone's like, the lighting in this didn't work very well, then I'll try to fix the lighting. Or if someone says, way you explain this didn't make sense, I'll try to fix, like, those kind of things. Sure. But if someone's like, your face is ugly, then I'm like, well, this is the face I have. So yeah, I mean,
Sorry, I'm not going to get plastic surgery for
I'm not
you.
changing my face. I think it's fine as it is. Yeah. Or if someone says like your hair looks bad, like that's not a good faith criticism. So I think it just really it depends. On YouTube, it depends the kind of comments. But if someone gave me a comment on my book saying, your book looks bad, then like they have that right, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like some comments, like I agree, some comments I have taken and used those as like positive criticism. For example, I think when I first started out, like I had pretty crappy audio. And so like I went and fixed that by getting like a mic from Amazon for like $14. And then ever since then, it's been like super improved. Or some users, like if I had like a shaky cam for like reading vlogs and stuff like that, they said that shaking cameras were like hard for them because they had like visual sensitivities. So then I worked on getting a tripod that like holds my cameras perfectly. Well, my phone holds it perfectly still so that I'm not shaking or anything like that. So some things come across as negative, but they're actually really like positive criticism to help like further better the channel, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like even if someone's rude about it, I still can try to find a positive thing to take out of it. Like someone's like, oh my god, it was so annoying how the light was like this and how you explained this thing so badly. And I'll be like, okay, I mean, it's rude the way they said it, but there might be something to that. And then sometimes I'll like ask other people to see if they agree with the feedback too. And, you know, it's always good to get feedback to improve. But that's all to say that, like, yes, you could read your reviews as long as you're not going to be mean about it.
Okay.
But hopefully you'll get a lot of good reviews. Like, so far this book's getting a lot of good reviews. So I'm hoping that trend continues.
Yeah, so anybody out there that's reading this book, make sure to go review it on Amazon and Goodreads.
You can even leave a bad review and I won't be mean to you about it.
I'm just jumping over to the chat here. So Paige thinks that your mom makes amazing cookies. She's going to have to send some my way because I want some.
Yeah, my mom does make amazing cookies. I don't know how Paige knows that. One, because she's a puppet and doesn't have a stomach. She's a puppet. And two, because she's in Canada where I've never been. But Paige, I trust you.
She probably saw the cookies that your mom made you for your book launch.
Oh, my mom, that was actually a small business shout out real quick. My mom got those made at a company called Custom Confection Chicago. That in Chicago, it's this cookie artist who does custom cookies for different events. And she's actually done the cookies for 2 of my book launches now. She also did them for the Savvy Business Owner book launch. So it's always super cool. I
remember that. That was
cool. Yeah, you were on the stream for that.
Yeah, I was on that stream. I remember you showed those off.
Yeah.
I was very jealous because I wanted one.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Star says that she found you through your newbie tag. So that's really cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
There you go.
Paige, just so you know, my mom does actually make amazing cookies. She just didn't make those cookies, but she does make really good cookies. So you weren't wrong. Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I think it's just like a mom thing. They're really good at making cookies.
Yeah, I think so.
Christine said, hey, everyone, Savvy's the best, and I've enjoyed learning more about break-even books in the past few months. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I recommended you to my publisher and stuff because I know that you do a good job reviewing books. And
nice.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Cross-networking, look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Love networking.
Star said, if you want to hear about an author who hates getting criticism, watch Crimson Rogue's video series on Empress Teresa.
Okay, well, I'll check that out. I hadn't heard about that.
Look up.
But yeah.
Paige said I could change my face, but I won't.
Well, Paige is a puppet, so I guess theoretically she's the only one who actually can.
Yeah, she does have that power.
Yeah, but Paige, your puppet face is perfect.
And Katie is back, and she says, hey, how are 2 of my favorite booktubers?
Oh, thank you, Katie. I always love seeing Katie in the chat because I feel like she is always has such a positive attitude about everything. Oh yeah, it's just really nice to see. She's always so supportive.
Yeah, Katie is like the most supportive person and super positive all the time. Okay, let's jump into. I have a couple more questions for you, and then I had some that I threw in there for fun. Just check.
Okay, cool. I'm here for all the questions.
Before we jump over to the questions, though, I'm just going to share the screen to show you guys the fundraiser page.
Yay, fundraiser! I love how this is also a fundraiser stream. So guys, Eric was brilliant in saying that we should not just do an interview. We should also, since it's Pride Month, make an LGBT organization fundraiser. And I think you did a great job choosing this fundraiser because it sounds like a really cool thing. Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so this is the fundraiser page. I put the link in the description up above, but it's also in the video description. It's for the Archives, which is Canada's Queer Archives. So essentially, this organization, I already talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but I'm going to talk about it again because I like it. This organization collects different like pieces of LGBTQ plus history and archives them so that our history is preserved and is there for the future for people to know, like, we were here, we are present. And yeah, so I'm really excited to support this charity. It's also a charity that like the company I worked on. So like that was another impact because I was excited to work on a charity like this. But anyways, that's the page that we have going on Facebook right now. And the link is in the video description if you guys feel like you would like to donate.
Yay!
Okay, let's jump back over to questions. I just have to stop sharing my screen. There we go. Okay, so my next question for you, Savy, is how long on average does it take you to write a book? Now, I know you said that your book that you just put out, the new one, took about 3 years. Does it take you that long for every book? I don't think so, because you're up to 10 now.
Well, I mean, that's, first of all, that wasn't just the writing. That was like from the first draft until the publication. So that was like also the editing and revision and layout and all of that and everything. So, I mean, they do usually take that long, but I stagger them. So it's like, oh, if I had a bunch of books coming out this year, well, it's because I've been planning those and I'm now working on other ones right now and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say to write a first draft, I generally write a first draft in about 1 to 2 months. Because I usually like to do NaNoWriMo and do like month-long writing challenges or so this book actually has an interesting story of how it came about. So this book was basically my like grad school master's thesis in a way. Like I was getting I was getting a Master of Arts, but not a Master of Fine Arts, so I didn't have to like defend a thesis in front of a faculty or anything, but I did for like my big project for my master's in writing and publishing program. I took this novel writing sequence where it was like the fall quarter, you write the first draft of the novel. Like that's the class, is everybody has to write a first full draft of a novel. And so we had from like September to November to write the full novel. Then winter quarter, it was like the class reads each other's novels and gives each other feedback and does workshops on it and has to write a second draft of the novel and like incorporating the changes. And then the third quarter, which was the spring of my last year of grad school, I had an independent study with my professor where I worked with her to get more feedback and wrote a third draft of the novel and got it prepared to pitch to publishers. So this was like the third draft of this basically was my grad school final product. And then, so I finished grad school in June 2019. So that was 2 years ago. And then after that, then in 2020, I pitched this to Christine, who's in the chat now. She runs Muse Media Publishing, which, her company, it started out publishing magazines and still does, but has been publishing magazines since 2007. And around 2019, she told me that she wanted to start opening a books division as well. So in 2020, as soon as she was like, let's open up the books division, I pitched it right away and got a contract. And then we started on the developmental editing process where she gave me more edits. So I wrote the fourth draft of it, finished the fourth draft at the end of 2020, like December 2020. And then it went through line edits and layouts and proofreads and all those other things and came out 3 weeks ago. So that was the long process. September 2018 was when I started writing it. So when it comes to that does tend to be fairly typical in terms of how long it takes me. Like if I look back to One Final Vinyl, I actually spent 4 years on that book because I wrote the first draft in 2016 and then did, edits. And I worked on other books in the meantime, but then I would come back to it and do another round of revisions and edits and show it to more people and get feedback from classmates and critique groups and things like that, do another round of revisions. I think Sculpt Yourself I put out the quickest. I don't know why. I think because that book was already so weird that I just had more confidence in its weirdness. So I was just like, It's weird. Let's put it out. But I mean, obviously I didn't just put it out. I went through the whole process, but That one was a NaNoWriMo book, so it was a month for the draft of that. So yeah, I would say about usually 1 to 2 months to write the first draft, and then a while longer for edits and revisions and things and getting it ready for publication.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I'm always just amazed at like how long the actual process is for writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I could do that. Like I don't know, I'm not organized enough to like be working that much on one thing for so long. And I'm also very scatterbrained, so like that has a impact
So
too.
being scatterbrained can, I think, be an advantage. At least it is for me, because like I said, I kind of stagnate the books and how they come out. So like this one, you know, took 3 years in total, but while I was, you know, having this book in revisions, I wrote with RK, we wrote the first draft of Cancel Sean Boston while this book was in revision. And like, while I was in the process of preparing this book to pitch to publishers, I released one final vinyl, which I had written Sculpt Yourself while that book was in revision. So it was kind of like you know, you have new ones in the works all the time. So you want to be like working on the writing of one book while you're working on the editing of another, while you're working on the publishing process for the other one. So at least for me, that's how it works. So it is good to have to want to jump between different projects, especially because then I'm also making videos in between there and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. So I have one more question from like my main questions, and then I have just some like random ones that I threw together.
Awesome.
So my last one, being that it is Pride Month,
yes,
if you are comfortable, would you like to share your coming out story?
Yeah, it's funny because my mom's in the chat. So okay, so my coming out story went like this. I put up a blog post. And it was like me being like, so it's Pride Month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Chewy to the Pride Parade with me. And we're going to go to the parade, and it's going to be so much fun. And so I put the blog post up, and I was like, on Facebook, I was like, it's coming out day. I'm bisexual. And my mom was like, Savvy, I need to talk to you about your blog post. And I was freaking out. But then all she told me was like, you shouldn't take Chewy to the Pride Parade because he's not going to behave himself. And she started lecturing me about it. And I was like, Mom, oh my God, I can take Chewy to the Pride Parade. He will behave himself perfectly fine. And she was like, no, he won't. He is a very hyperactive dog, and he is difficult. He is not going to behave himself at the parade with all of that commotion. And I was like, it's going to be fine, Mom, I promise. And then I took him to the Pride Parade, and he did not behave himself. My mom was right. And he was like wanting to jump everywhere. And then Tyler had to wrangle him on the leash. And then he like almost dislocated Tyler's thumb on the walk home.
Oh, wow.
So Tyler, if you're watching, I'm sorry about that. You're right. I'm never taking Chewy to the Pride Parade again. Mom, if you're still here, I'm sorry. I didn't listen to you, and I took Chewy to the Pride Parade. But anyway, my mom, she's here. She's like, moms, no, you don't take your dog to the Pride Parade, you idiot. It's like, yep. Well, sorry, my headphones disconnected. 1 second.
Paige agrees. Mama was right.
Yep. Y'all were right. But beyond that,
your mom's laughing at us.
This is also just like, you know how earlier I mentioned I'm oblivious to everything. So I was one of those oblivious people who thought everyone was bisexual. Not true. Not everyone's bisexual. It was just me. I mean, and also you, and also like a lot of most people I know. But like, it wasn't literally the entire world. I thought it was like literally everyone. I thought that was the default. I didn't think I had to come out about it because I thought it was the default. And then I later learned that it wasn't. Like when people be like, "Are you bisexual?" I'd be like, "No, I just like men and women." And people would be like, "Yeah, that's what it is." And I'm like, "No, just in the same way that everybody does." And we'd be like, so I was just being. I didn't come out until I was 24, not because I was afraid to, but because I was too stupid to realize. So anyway, that's my whole story.
It's interesting because like a lot of people like, well, obviously when you saw the message from your mom, like I feel like your first thoughts going through your head would be like, oh no, like what's this going to be? Because like you'd be nervous, and then it's just about the dog.
It's just about the dog. Like my mom's a very sweet and accepting person. She never would have been mean to me about that. But I was still like, oh no, how do I have to talk about this? Like it was going to be awkward. But no, it wasn't. She just wanted to lecture me about not taking the dog to the Pride Parade.
Oh, that is
So
like
that's my very anticlimactic and stupid coming out
no,
story. I
that's not.
wish it was
That's
more
like
interesting than that.
that's a very heartwarming coming out story because obviously like your family was super accepting and that's not
Yeah.
the case for a lot of people. So like
Yeah.
that is a very heartwarming thing to hear.
Yeah, it was good. It was good because yeah, no one really gave me a hard time, which I appreciate. Well, a few people did, but I won't name them obviously
Yeah.
publicly, but I did have a little bit of feedback of people being like, "Why did you have to come out about this? Like, do you just want to get attention on the internet or whatever?" And it was really rude because I was like, "Well, I didn't come out for 15 years. One because I was too stupid to know that I had to. Not that I had to. No one has to.
Yeah. No one
I was
ever
like
has
too
to.
stupid to
But yeah.
realize that like it wasn't just the assumption." And second because like because of things like that, because of negative connotations and bad stereotypes that come with it, like, oh,
Mhm.
you're just confused or having a phase or
Ugh,
want to
the
get it.
phase. Ugh,
It's
I
a
hate that.
phase and you will choose a side eventually. It's like, no, that's not really how it works. Like, it's just
Yeah.
not. Yeah. um so it was just didn't want to hear any of that kind of stuff either. So I did get a few negative things like that, which I didn't like, but now I'm pretty confident in everything. It's been a long time since then.
Which is awesome, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Katie had a lot to say in the chat.
Oh, dude,
She
I love
said,
Katie. Katie's great.
probably props to Savvy for her incredible dedication and hard work. It
Aw.
truly amazes me how much she does. It's seriously so inspiring, and she also helps others be as productive with her writing streams.
Yeah, every
Aw,
time
so
Katie
Kate,
shows up to one of the writing streams, she is there with like some energy and some motivation to keep us going, and it's great.
yeah, Katie, literally writing God, helping other God.
Katie, you're awesome.
I think Katie uses like the term gods a lot because she loves Percy Jackson. Like she's like the biggest Percy Jackson
That
fan
makes
I
sense.
know.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
She calls Marcus the Dark Lord, and I think it's hilarious. uh, Katie, you crack me up. This has become me being a Savvy Appreciation fan, and I am quite happy about it.
Thank you.
And she thinks your mom is amazing.
My mom is amazing. Thanks for being awesome, Mom.
Okay, so those were all like the main questions I had, but I do
Yeah.
have some fun ones if you want to get into
Yes, let's
those.
do fun questions.
These are more just like, well, I say they're fun. They're fun for me because I'm a reader, but like they're more
I'm sure
like just
they're
reading
fun. I
questions.
imagine everyone watching is a reader too. So yeah, fun
Uh,
reader questions.
so my first reader question is, do you have like a favorite book friendship? And you can totally use your own characters too if you want.
Favorite book friendship. That's a good question. Who's my favorite book friendship? Why am I coming
You
up
can
with
think on this one.
nothing?
I'll ask you another
Yeah, I'm
question while
sure
you
that
think
there's
on
a
this
lot
one.
of the problem is, okay, this is something I was talking about earlier. The problem is that all of 2021 I've been reading almost all nonfiction. I haven't read like any fiction this year. It's really sad. I have so many fiction books on my TBR that I'm so excited to get to, but I've been reading business books to review on my channel and to get better at business, and I just have read so much nonfiction this year that it's wild. But I will think on the book friendship because I'm sure there is one. Like, I love book friendships. Yeah.
Oh, also, side note, not a question, but I thought that was so cool that you got your book in like an indie book box. That was
Oh
awesome. I
yes.
literally just watched like your unboxing video the other day and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I can just imagine how excited you are unboxing your own book in like a book box. Like that would be so exciting.
Yeah, so yeah, guys, for those who don't know, my book One Final Vinyl was included in the subscription box called The Indie Bookworm. It was the May book for May 2021 because May is Mental Health Month, and One Final Vinyl talks about mental health and addresses dealing with anxiety and things like that. And I wrote it after while I was dealing with a lot of my own mental health issues. So I definitely like tried to take an own voice's perspective on that. So that book was in the Indie Bookworm. I recommend everyone check out the Indie Bookworm box, which is run by an author tuber named Amara Franklin. It's the coolest box. Like, it's got the coolest stuff in it. I love it. It has awesome books. And what I like is that I sometimes feel like a lot of subscription boxes, dude, I wish I was sponsored. I sound like I'm sponsored. She didn't sponsor me. This is just my honest opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of subscription boxes sometimes just like take like leftover merchandise, so they don't care if it's good or not. But like, she literally reads every book that she chooses for the box. So she gets book submissions, and she gets a ton of them, and she reads all of them and chooses. She has read the whole book before she chooses it. So like, it's actually picked for being a good book and not just like at random.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Like I think that indie like books deserve so much more attention. And I
Yes,
feel like they need to be
same.
like shown. And so like I remember, I think when we had first started talking, when you had like when both of us had started our channels, you were reviewing like another indie book box, and then that one ended up going out of business, which was like
Yeah.
unfortunate
I
because
was so sad.
I was like going to try and sign up for that one, and then it went out of business, and I was just like bummed because like indie books are important and we need to like celebrate them too.
Yeah.
So
I really
yeah,
liked a lot of the books I got in that box too, the one that went out of business. I read some like amazing books. But now there's a new one, which is the one I was in, that I'm so happy about. And the books in that box have been really good too. So I recommend it. Just check it out.
it's
Yeah.
really cool. Back to the friends question, Paige actually said, excuse me, Anne and Diana. So I believe this is from Green Gables, Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, that's
I
the best
believe.
friendship. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
That would make
because
sense.
I actually visited PEI and like went to like Avonlea, which is like the little like Anne of Green Gables village and stuff, and they had raspberry cordial, and it was so delicious. Like I dream of that stuff. It was so good.
I'm going to give a cop-out answer while I think of a better one. And I'm going to say my favorite book friendship is in my own book, One Final Vinyl, is the friendship between Emma and Daisy, who are an 18-year-old girl and a 90-year-old woman. And I just think it's fun to have a cross-generational friendship where people bond over their love of the same music.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
my cop-out. That's my cop-out answer. While I try to think of another book that I've read within the past year. Well, I mean, I did the Reindeer Readathon with you. I read a ton of books for that, and I'm over here like, what are books?
I just remember everybody trying to get you to read that like Chicago City like
oh my god,
Polish
I didn't get to it.
something.
Yeah, so when we did a Reindeer Readathon, one of the prompts was read a book with a map in it, and there's a lot of fantasy books, but I don't have any of those.
Yeah.
So I found a book on my shelf called Polish Chicago that my mom got for me, and it was all about the history of the Chicago Polish community, which I am a Chicago Polish, so I should probably learn about our history. And it was full of recipes, and it also had maps of Poland in it. So I was like, oh, I can read this one, but I didn't get to that one because I was too busy reading other books for the readathon as well.
So Paige said that that was the friendship.
Oh, awesome.
That's
Awesome.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed. I never read those books, but like I did watch like all the different movies they had, and I saw a lot of stuff like when I was in PEI like visiting. So yeah, plus I think my mom read all those books and she really liked them, and she had like this phase where she was obsessed with Anne of Green Gables, so there was like lots of stuff at her house on it.
Yeah.
We have the books at my like parents' house. I've just never read them, but
yeah.
I saw a comment up here. Oh yeah. Maddie Henry said, I was sold at Lesbian Back to the Future. I have the ebook and the hardcover. I just started reading 90s Kids this week, and I'm loving it so far. Your other books are awesome too.
Oh my god, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Dude, I just want to say I love the hardcover so much. I keep knocking on it just because I like the sound of hardcover books, and I've never had a book in hardcover before. So it's so nice. I love like it's just such high quality. I'm very happy with this book. I'm like over here promoting it, not like read my book. It's interesting. I'm like read my book because it's the binding is so strong.
Because it sounds like it's a sturdy one.
It really is. It's really sturdy, and I just Fun fact, the cover designer's name is also Eric with a K, and sometimes when I was emailing you guys about things, I would get you confused. Because you have the same name.
Mean, we're very few and far between Eric's with a K, so...
Yeah.
Katie said, not quite a book friendship, but Eric and Uno, unless he turns into the hoodie and rug cat menace of fabric.
No, you and your cat. Your cat's adorable.
My cat, yeah, he is adorable. But like anytime I wear a sweater, I need to put these on the inside. Like I tuck them in. Because he looks like he's going to come hang out with me and be like adorable and just cuddle up to me. And then the next thing I know, he's like savagely attacking this. And I'm like, I could be in the middle of like a work meeting, and all of a sudden you just see my cat's head like pop up as he like jumps up to try and get this thing. So
Oh my
I have to
god.
hide them. Okay. Paige said another set of favorite friends are Kermit and Fozzie.
I mean, they're puppets like Pages, so I can see she's a little biased on that one.
And your mom said the hardcover is amazing, but the paperback is impressive too.
The paperback also looks good. Yeah, yeah. I'm just happy with the book all around. I'm like, I haven't been able to stop looking at it just because of how happy I am with how amazing it
Yeah, no, like you should be excited about it. It's so awesome. Another question I had for you was, I feel like I know the answer now, but do you prefer hardbacks or paperbacks?
In general, I really don't care. Like when it comes to a book that I'm gonna read, um, yeah, like honestly, it depends on like the size of the book and if I'm planning to carry it. I guess maybe hardcovers because they're fun to put on the shelf and they're more fun to like in a like tactile stimulation kind of way. They're more fun to like open and close and they make more noise. So if I'm talking just like about the fun outside of the reading element, probably the hardcover. But I like paperbacks too. Sometimes I'll buy them just because they're less expensive. So like some publishers price the hardcovers really expensive. They make them like $30 and stuff. So if the hardcover is too expensive, I'll get the paperback. Unless one of my friends wrote it, then I'll pay extra to get the hardcover because I don't care how much I'm paying. If you're my friend, I'm buying your book regardless.
Stars says she has the paperback of 90s Kids.
Oh, yay! I mean, I have a bunch of paperbacks of it because I have like author copies as well.
Right on. Okay, I have 2 more questions and then I'll let you go. So my second last question is, do you have a favorite reading spot?
Yes, it's a cabin in North Carolina that I've only been to 3 times.
Oh,
Or 2 times, maybe 3 times, 2 times, 3 times. My in-laws live in North Carolina, and in their neighborhood, there's just this little cabin that people in the neighborhood can just go to, and it's just full of books. I did a vlog there because one year I did like the reindeer readathon vlog from the cabin, and that's my favorite place to read. It always has snacks in it that anyone who comes by can just have some snacks, and it's just full of books. And yeah, I love to read there, so that's my favorite reading spot. But when I can't read there, I either, which is the overwhelming majority of the time, I've only been able to go there on 3. Well, I've been there more than 3 times, but like I've been to North Carolina 3 times, and I've gone there. Yeah, so like only when I'm visiting family can I do that. And then other than that, like places that I can regularly go, when the weather's nice, I like to read out on the front steps. Like I don't have a yard or a porch or anything because I live in the city, so but the front steps to our complex are actually really nice to sit down and read, and one of my neighbors sometimes does that too, so we'll do that. Or I'll just read on the couch. I like to be on the couch too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the couch is definitely like a comfort space for a lot of us readers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my favorite spot is probably out on our back deck. Like we don't have much of a yard
you have a back deck. We have a back table. Like we have like a back exit to our unit, and then along the stair railing there, we put a big slab of wood so that we'd have a back table. Sometimes we eat dinner on it, but that's the closest thing we have.
I mean, like we have a back deck, but there's I think 2 chairs on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I just sit out there right in the dead center, like blaring heat on me, and just read.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice. But like we don't have that big of a yard, so like that's the only spot like I go really outside to read. But yeah, I think that was probably my favorite spot, and then I would say probably the couch after that.
I love the couch, dude. I can never get enough of the couch.
If I had a hammock, that would be my ideal spot.
Oh, that would be fun.
I would love it, but I don't have one. So
yeah, now I'm kind of dreaming of one. Yeah.
Okay, and then my last question is, I'm not sure if I asked you this before, but if you had to name yourself as a book title, what would it be?
Wait, name myself like
you are a book. what is your
It
book
would probably
called?
be Savvy Business Owner, which is already a book that I wrote.
And that's
Because
fair.
I am savvy and I'm a business owner. And then hashtag Savvy Business Owner was already a common hashtag. So I was like, this will be a perfect book title. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm someone, maybe I could make this into a deep statement where I'm like, make your dreams into reality. Like, don't just imagine yourself as a book title, literally physically become the book title. That's what I did. So yeah, it would probably be Savvy Business Owner, which is a book that I wrote. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, you had a
Yeah.
perfect answer for it. If anybody has any questions, like any of you in the audience have a question for Savvy, definitely put them in there.
Yeah, put questions in the chat. I will
We'll
answer
probably stick
anything.
around for a couple more
Unless
minutes.
you're like, what's your social security number? I won't answer that. But anything related to books or writing or anything else, sure. But yeah, yeah, absolutely. Also, just I want to say thank you to Christine for being here in the chat, and thank you for publishing this book, because it was really wonderful to work with you for the whole process. Oh, Maddie says she thought it would be Gay Aunt from the 80s would be. I mean, to be fair, would that be maybe it would, but like that's that's just kind of like my tagline. I don't know. Because I was actually born in 92, so I feel I that was just a joke I made one time, and now I feel like it's a big lie because I was born in 92, so now I feel like I'm lying to everyone whenever I say it, but I can't get rid of it because people like it too much.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, but she was born the same year as me. This is a lie.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I still love it.
Like, if I had just been born a couple years earlier, it could have been true, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But the thing is, it worked out because now I've got Courtney, the American Girl doll, where she's back there somewhere, and she's my gay niece from the 80s. So I was like, I need a niece, and then Courtney, the American Girl doll from 1986 came out. So I was like, perfect.
Your mom had a book title for you.
Genuine, funny, creative. Oh, Mom, thank you. You're very nice.
Katie's question was, how can one be as amazing as you? That's a tough question.
I don't think there's a way to answer that. Katie, I think you already are amazing is the answer to that. Just
Agreed.
like, you've already got such a like excited outlook on life. Don't ever let that go. That would be my thing to say, because like, even for me, that's something that I've always held on to, is like, things that you get excited about when you're young, you don't ever have to stop. Like, I never stopped playing with toys, and now look at my office, and now I run a toy company. And like, I never stopped, watching Back to the Future every weekend my whole life. And then I wrote a time travel book. So it's like, you know what? Like, you can just like keep being excited. You've got it. You've got it together.
Right on.
Stars.
Christine
hey, Christine.
Said, thanks, Savvy. It has been super fun to work on this book. It has so much to offer. And
Thank you.
Star had a question. Besides Courtney, which historical American girl is your favorite?
Molly. She's up there on the top next to my disco butt. I like that with the wide angle webcam, you can see the top row where I have myself. That's my Savvy doll from when I had long hair. Over on the far side, she's riding an IKEA shark. And then I've got my Forever Home Friends plushies back there, and next to them is Molly, the American Girl doll, 1944. She's my other favorite. I got her for Christmas when I was really young, and she's, from back before Mattel took over. So I really like her a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, great question, Star. And then Katie said, I shall try my best, and thank you for your kind words.
Oh, of course, Katie, of course.
So with that, I think we'll wrap up our author interview. Yay. So thank you to everybody that came by and joined us in the chat and asked some questions and honestly just interacted with us. Like, we had a lot of fun chatting with you guys too. The fundraiser is still going to be in the video link or video description. And that, I believe, is set to be live for 1 week. So it'll be live till next Tuesday. So if you guys feel like you do want to donate to that, then by all means, go ahead. No pressure, though. You don't have to. But it's there. And also, Savy's link to buy her book is also in the description down below. So go get 90s Kids and leave her a review, whether you like it or not, so she can read it. Either way, Savy's gonna be excited to read those reviews.
I'm excited regardless. I'm always excited about everything, so you really can't disappoint me.
Right on. Okay, well, yeah, with that, thanks, Savy, for coming onto the channel and doing this interview.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. Congrats again on hitting 4,000 subscribers. You're doing really awesome. Thank you so much to everyone who came by and watched and left us a comment in the chat. If you're watching the replay, leave us a comment and let us know what you think. But yeah, thanks for being awesome, everyone.
Yes, agreed. All right, until next time. See you later.